How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews back with, I have no idea, New Jersey random shelfie turd time in the form of, what do we have here? I don't want to screw this up. It's brewed by Mastri Birrai Umbri. So Mastri Birrai Umbri. It's their COTTA 68. It's a birra doppio malto, birra non filtrata. So this is a malty beer and a non-filtered beer, re-fermented in a bottle. That would be Refermentia in Bottigligia. Yeah, Italian beer. Let's see what else we have going on here. They actually have story time in the back. It is in English and it is like 6-point font, so I'm gonna butcher this one. Got to get to put the glasses up so I can read it. It says Mastri Birrai Umbri's unfiltered blonde double malt beer is pure malt barley beer inspired by the tradition. Its appearance is characterized by an intense yellow color, naturally veiled with honey-colored highlights. The head is white, persistent, of medium consistency. I feel like this went through Google Translate. The main aromas of this beer can be clearly distinguished. The fresh, herbaceous notes of aromatic hops and the notes of malt, honey, and caramel due to the use of special malts in this recipe. We find sweet notes of barley malt, caramel, intense but balanced bitterness of hops with hints of ripe fruit due to high fermentation yeast used. The finish is persistent and complex. Product of Italy, out of Gualdo Cateo, it looks like. And this be sneeze. 3 years old. Yeah. It says, oddly enough, it has New Jersey redemption value on it. So I assume this is like kind of like test imported, because it says here imported. Who's the importer of this? Coastline Import Company, Freehold, New Jersey. I assume they just kind of, what these breweries from overseas typically do. This is their label. This is the Italian label. This is how they sell it over here. They leave the back blank, and then we print or they provide these labels on the back, and then we put it on there because we have to have stuff like barcodes. We have to have dating, alcohol has to be on there. Product for Italy, Surgeon General's warning, all that kind of stuff. So I assume they only made. Oh no, this is best before April 17, 2017. I wonder what the original bottling date on this is. I think it's actually 15. Because there's a no, Julian, yeah, it might be 15. This is a couple years old. But I figured I'd take a flyer on it. Why not? You know? We'll see what's what. So let's get this sucker open. One of these fantastic Girl Shop jammers. That's what we like to hear. You know, you're not talking about a big beer, but when you get a hiss like that, you're really, that was on there. That cap was on there. There's a lot of empty space on this beer, so there might be some decent amount of oxidation from negative oxygen in the bottle itself when it was bottled, because it was like, like down to here, almost where the neck puffs out. That's how much space is left. You usually don't want to leave that much space. Label-wise, honestly, it really did jump out at me, especially seeing that on a beer shelf. Almost all Italian bottles tend to be a little bit unique, so they tend to jump out. But yeah, I saw this, and I was like, you know what? Age shelfie. Got to pick it up, see what's what. Bit of sediment floating around in there. I don't know if you guys can see it. Put a little light on it. Little bits and pieces of stuff floating around there. Index finger, fluffy, creamy, crumbly head on it. Kind of that washed out caramel kind of look to it. So yeah, I mean, it looks the part of a oxidized kind of blonde ale. So, let's see if we get a nose. Really not much there. That's that soft, like, washed out Werther's original caramel kind of vibe to it. Not overly sweet. I'm not really getting a bunch of oxidation on the nose. It's just like almost a watered down kind of caramel. That's kind of how I expected it to come off. They talked about all these hops on there, meaningful, purposeful, not over the top, but I expected those to be gone, because, I mean, just off the cuff, I was thinking it was 3 years. It's probably more like 5 years old, I'm guessing. But yeah, it doesn't smell negative on the nose. The hiss gives me hope that it's going to have some vibrant taste to it. Let's dive in. Cheers. That's not bad at all. I mean, it really is like a, oh, it's got a nice bitterness to it, too. So those hops have stuck around. That kind of watered down caramel is really the star of the show here until that bitterness kind of picks up. And you kind of get hit with this nice, big, old school hopped, Kent Golding's fugly kind of bitterness to it that brings this wet, tannic tea bag kind of vibe to it, which I kind of dig. I like this beer. I mean, I like it for what it is. Listen, I am through and through an aged beer junkie. So a lot of times when these beers are past their prime, which beer certainly is, I can still find good in them. Because I can just, one, I enjoy the experience of old beer, even if it's not top notch where it should be or where it was originally. But I also like kind of playing the guessing game in my brain about what this would have tasted like fresh. I think it would have been pretty good. I didn't look up anything about this beer, especially these older age ones. Any beer I want to go to a beer review, I don't want to do any kind of research. But this one, I was just kind of, man, definitely don't look this up. And I'm pumped to kind of do a little backtracking research on this now. So, because listen, a little bit of caramel notes, a nice kind of sturdy bittering, a nice mouthfeel to it, nothing too crazy. Beautiful carbonation, especially for a 5-year-old beer. Not bad, especially I think I paid like $7 for this or something. I have no idea. It's a nice walk down memory lane and a very pleasant aged beer. So I stopped by a local bottle shop, not too local, actually, a little bit out of my way. And I popped in and they had a bunch of weird age stuff. And I purchased a bunch of weird age stuff. And you'll probably see them pop up. The one I did before this was Belgian Brune. That was about, I think it was 8 years old maybe. Somewhere around there. And that was poo-poo. I mean, it was just flat as flat could be. The cap was barely on there. Zero carbonation. And that was kind of sucked. But I paid $3 for it. So it was a fun experience. Even though the beer wasn't good. This is a little bit of a surprise, getting this kind of beer in this kind of condition with this kind of seal on it and this kind of carbonation, and have it turn into something fun. They had a slower ABV version of, I assume, this beer because they have like numbers on here, and this is 68. I think there was one might have been 40 or 50. And I believe that has to do with like ABV level or malt count or bitterness. I don't know what it is, but it was a lower ABV version. And I picked this one up just for the fact that it was aged. It was actually, both of them were the same age, but this one would probably hold up the age a little bit better. It wasn't wrong. This beer is not going to be dumped. This beer is going to be drank. I dig this. I like this. Plus, I don't have to throw a cap on it. It's got its own little top there. That's why you got to love these Growle Shop bottles. I'm a sucker for Growle Shop bottles. Like, anytime I see any kind of bottle like this and it's aged, I kind of always buy it just because I can't help myself. It's kind of like my one buddy is a vinyl junkie, but if he sees colored vinyl, like picture vinyl or colored vinyl, he's just like, I don't even care what the songs are on it. He's like, I gotta buy it. It's kind of the way I am with these Growle Shop ones. Unique ones. I'm not going, anytime I pass a Growle Shop, I'm not buying that. I can't remember last time I bought one. But to get something like this from Italy on the cheap with the potential of it aging well and have it come out like relatively surprisingly low oxidation and a really fun kind of caramel sweetness that's from your age there, but they even call that in the label, so it's something they're shooting for, and then have those hops still be present is a very fun exercise. So anyway, let's go in there now. We don't want to lose any more carbonation. Let's talk about it. It's one of the better, I don't even know what to call it, hoppy. No, is it one of the better beers I've had as of late? No. This isn't not like a Mount Rushmore thing. I'm not going to put it towards the top. One of the better aged beers? No. One of the better hoppy beers? No. One of the better caramel tasting beers? No. Is it one of the more interesting beers, especially when it comes to an aged beer sense and just having the experience of drinking aged beer and tasting how things can change? Yes, that's where this beer really lands for me. Maybe that's not your gig, but for me, it is, and I find it quite fun. Value to availability, like I said, I'm pretty sure I paid like $6-7 for this. I'm okay with that, and leave you with, if you like what we like this beer, if you like drinking aged beer, I know it's a niche thing. I know people just want beer to taste a specific way and be fresh and be all that stuff, but it really is a fun thing for me, and I know a lot of people out there dig it. So if you like aged beer and tasting how beer can change, especially if you've had this beer fresh to revisit, I think it would be really fun. So there you go. Little aged beer in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers. If you want to check me out doing the social media stuff, Beer Massive. Want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of a Mastri Birra Umbri. Hopefully see you next time. Cheers.